Merry Christmas, everybody. Season's greetings. I said Merry Christmas already. They looked at me and say Happy Holidays. I don't know why I felt very hungry. I wanted to like punch you in the throat. And I was like, no, don't do that. But Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to those of you who are Hanukkah Kwanzaa peoples. That's all.
Hanukkah Kwanzaa?
He's down with holiday.
Oh, okay. Chef Jet 3000.
Yes. Merry Christmas coming up to all of you out there, especially, well, apart from some of you IJGBs. We'll come to that very shortly. We'll come to that soon. Okay, no, I'm joking.
There's tension in the neighborhood.
Delphine herself is here.
Good morning, Lagos. How's it going? No traffic this morning. Beautiful stuff.
The reason why I had to single out our IJGB, I was thinking, okay, this IJGB season is not so bad. Nobody's, giving me any article or whatever. Then somebody just comes and sees her friends and it's like, cheer my card.
What?
Cheer my card. And I'm like,
Stop it.
I thought it was an Italian name saying. I was like,
Chiamarca. And there's an
cheer
R.
my card. No, it's like, I had to show the expression as well. Cheer my card.
Was it?
It was deep. It was deep.
No, it was hard. It was hard. So she couldn't quite pronounce it.
You know? Now I'm just wondering what upset you the most. The way he pronounced the name. The look on her
It was
face.
all of the above. It was all of the above.
Wonderful. Okay,
Brought to you by Verve. In our usual tradition, first, a WhatsApp number for the messages is 0809 444 091. That's 0809 444 0981. We also have Twitter.
Twitter is at Smooth981FM. And in case you haven't seen the videos we'll be reviewing this morning, you can go on there. The full video is there as we'll just be as we'll be listening to a snippet of the songs. On YouTube, we're streaming live, so please go on to youtube.com/smooth981. And on Instagram, you can follow us just to see fine pictures at Smooth981.
Nice. The first video we're going to review is the one shot and directed by TG Omori. It's a video to the song Suru by Techno. Listen. I can't believe how much this song is. Studio. Who's going to go first? Folu?
Oh, okay. Listen, it's just disappointing from Techno, to be honest. There's nothing particularly memorable. There's nothing, for me, particularly enjoyable about it. I feel like he's been sort of struggling to make himself heard again. I don't know how to explain it, but well, best of luck to the kid. I have nothing else to say about this.
The mod scene, nothing in the
Who
video.
mod him? Who mod him? Are we not trying to move away from moddy things in our life? In 2020, we need less mod, not so much modding.
Nothing artistic about it.
I wasn't inspired. I mean, we saw like elements of the Joker, I think, coming through there as well, but we've already seen that done, and we saw it done really nicely by Fireboy. The music itself, for someone who's a producer, is not inspiring. It's again what I call this Afropop sound that lacks any real content. I was talking to someone recently, and we talked about how almost Lagos is a city of icing and very little cake. So a lot of icing around things. So it's the appearance of the sound of a good song, but it's not actually a good song. And that's what's so disappointing about it, especially because he is talented, especially because I feel like he can do better, but everyone's caught in the same trap of trying to create the exact same sound, which is why people like Fireboy stand out. So big shout out to him. And I know this is not a Fireboy review. And I'm very burnt that people decided to set up an interview with Fireboy and I was not present, despite my many efforts towards I know, because that's what I've been listening to generally. And I think that's it. It's such an example of what can happen if you're staying authentic to the Nigerian sound, but you're also being creative. This is meh.
Yeah.
It's meh.
I mean, I like the whole, it was easy enough to get a crowd in the surreal bits that he filmed over there. But to be honest, okay, let's be fair. This is not Fish Don't Swim with Monkey. This is a little bit better than that. But
no,
I just felt
the song is much better.
I just felt like there was no originality to this because it was like a copy and paste of that whole Joker thing. And it wasn't just a Joker thing. It was like it was the Joker and the Michael Jackson thing. Because that was also there. So I was like, was it shot by the same person? If not, then I don't know what exactly is going on here. I don't know. I mean, I didn't hear the words because Rhodes was giving a lecture at the time that stopped at the exact moment that it ended. And I was like, I'm okay with that because there wasn't much to interpret with this, actually. The lecture was a whole lot better than that. Wow. But, I don't know. Like, let's try and be original. I know that let's not make the Joker thing a theme. It's just not gonna work that way. There's nothing. It's been done.
You don't have the budget.
I was gonna say, realize you go to the cinema with Delphine.
Yeah, the lyrics 0. Like he was mumbling. Like I didn't even know what Surulere he was saying. Like Surulolo, Surulele, Surula. What are you saying? Like, dude, no, you're better than this.
You just echoed Shola. Shola said techno is a no.
Wow.
Like, no.
So brief. And Tony from Agoda says, compliments of season everyone. Chef Jeff, you almost made me drop my phone with laughter. I honestly thought what you said. She said she's a Chiamaka.
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 Oh.
Chiamaka.
I was confused. All right, from Chiamaka.
That's
So
how
Chiamaka.
But I have to say that I like techno as an artist, particularly his earlier songs. What made him blow that word into the music scene in Nigeria. So I'm looking forward to him doing something techno worthy or techno quality. It's sad, that he's come from there. He's gone through almost like a story that, human angle story whereby he lost his voice, things happened. It would have been so great for him to make a great comeback. What a fantastic story that would be. I'm still waiting. I haven't lost hope. So looking forward to his next song.
Zook, nice emoji on your WhatsApp. He said that Surulere song is basic, unimpressive, and empty. More so, a lot of people have sung about Surulere. Please sing about another place.
People are saying
Ogidi, Ikodu, Ekpe,
Saleki.
Or even just pick. Okay, Surulere Aguda.
People have done
Choma.
People have done Choma, so they've done many times. So
They haven't done Chiamaka.
That's coming up next, I guess.
I'm not gonna disappoint.
Well, there's that.
But that has been
Emma from Makoka says, Chiamaka, my chest. I am in severe pain. If not there, no go see for the other side.
Our next song is done by Davido. It's actually a Davido featuring Wald and Zlatan. The song is called Sweet in the Middle. Studio. It's off the new body of work, A Good Time album. The Davido features Wald, Naira Marley, and Zlatan on this one. Sweet in the Middle. In addition to all of this, they said the album, A Good Time. We've not reviewed that album yet, but it houses 17 tracks, features Chris Brown, Popcan, Ghana, and lots of others. But guys, this particular video, Sweet in the Middle, is it as sweet as it says?
I just want to talk about Naira Marley's verse.
Okay.
My chest. I was like, what's going on here? Like,
Chest good, chest bad.
Bad. It was terrible. Like, it just didn't go with the beats, nothing. He wasn't on pockets. It was just like, who is this person and why is he here? I feel like he was just there because he's Mali right now. You people, our Malians, you people's president did not bring it in this song. Let me just see. Like, no.
That's Delphine's opinion.
Everybody is capitalizing on this whole Eco-Atlantic budget saving video thing going on. So it's. I don't know. For me, I was just like, let's get to world. And then the wait is actually worth it. That's what it was. And even the beats alone and the video itself, I felt like, okay, they're trying to go otherworldly. See what I did there with this video as well. And it didn't sound like a very typical Davido kind of song, so to speak. Like, it's still Davido, but there's a little bit of that. I don't know. I think there was a lot of world influence with this, to be honest. I'm sorry, fans of world here. And, with the video, when world now comes in, that's when you now see the real singing talent that goes on there, to be honest. Let's be very frank. And world does its thing, man. It's world. This is a real about world, but it's a good video. I think the video tries. It tries a lot. The elements of madness that go in there. It's otherworldly. That's all I can say. Let me leave it at that. World owes me money.
Speaking on the video, we've seen post-apocalyptic done several times in videos now. We see it's a common thread. Remember, Olamide was one of the first people to start really pushing the post-apocalyptic look in his videos, and then very recently we've seen Fireboy do it with Scatter. Now we're seeing this as well. So it's not for originality, like 0 points for me. They do look nice in the video, and I think that's what happens when you can afford to get certain types of talent on your team, which is dope. World looks like he always belongs in post-apocalyptic future. So he does bring an element of class, I think, to anything that he does, just by simply being there. which is dope. This is a song is a classic example of, and it's gonna sound negative, but almost the song that comes to my head when I think of this song is "Do Anything for Clout," and that's just because you have some of the most popping people at the moment. That David was like, okay, cool, let's just all jump on a song together. So in terms of saying that I'm in with the current culture, I know what people are listening to, I can see who people may want to listen to in the future. Let me just do this track. I'm not a Malian in any way, shape, or form. I'm very, very interested in what he does. Or puts out, but I understand that is a cultural movement right now, youth culture, which scares the bejesus out of me. But everyone stay safe on the 30th. That's what I'm going to say.
Because there's going to be bottles.
Because if people's native home came down, then I don't know what's going to happen at this one. But it's okay. For people out there, they know what's happening.
But well, hang on. Are they actually planning to do it here, like Victoria Island?
I don't know. All I know is I'm not going to be moving that day. That's what I know. I know that I'm not going to be on the streets.
They said, number one, they said you didn't talk about the fact that he featured Naira Marley. You just said Latin. Shola the Malian.
Yeah, but I actually mentioned
he did mention.
See, the problem is people are not reading. They're not listening. They're not paying attention.
And then he goes on and say, why didn't you call his name? Naira doesn't go with the flow. He brought it.
Right.
I don't expect you to understand.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Anti-Malians.
Brought what?
Hear what? Mention his name first. You do not listen. Is the problem.
Alright, for me, I'll just say that, okay, video-wise, like you mentioned, I don't think this year, going back to this year, I don't think we've had any standout video. And just going back to what, I don't know, was Chef Jeff or Delphine that mentioned the fact that people take the easy option, just go to, I think it was
Open space.
So there was a time when we were getting to a point in Nigeria where you're looking forward to music videos because we started thinking outside the box, trying to
really.
Well,
yeah,
outside the box.
Maybe from
no,
where
we like
were.
Box here. Very
true statement.
From where we were to there, then they now relax. So now everyone is doing the.
But could the argument not be that we've just, because our standards have gone higher, so we just expect more? Because I think this is a huge upgrade from booty shaking constantly. Like I'm tired of seeing booty. Like remember this time all the videos hotel room and booty. I don't want it. I don't need it.
But you can disagree with that easily because
I think what it is we do not have as much equipment here in Nigeria because most of those videos have been shot in South Africa. And so
no, we have the equipment now. We have it now.
My brother is light. Generator sound. This thing is not. It's not a case of equipment. You've got the equipment. You've got some of the technology and know-how, but it comes at a premium here. A premium that a lot of people can't necessarily afford to pay consistently if you have any decent rollout plan ahead of you. And sometimes the creativity you say to art, these we can do this. Say no, that's not what I want. Let me show you this other person's
video. Yeah, exactly. Copy and paste.
Copy and paste.
So creativity, originality, we fear it. I don't know why, but we seem to want to go down the path most trodden and most beaten because that's security.
Yes, sir. Of course. As with most businesses.
Toya from Magodo says every person, creative or otherwise, loses his or way from time to time. Techno will find his way back. He's too talented.
Hallelujah.
Waiting patiently. The Davido song is too typical. He appears he uses the same drum sounds and patterns. He needs to switch it up. Talking about drums, actually, I was going to mention this. The opening beat reminded me of Killing Them by
Burna Boy.
People are collecting money. Down everywhere.
It's probably the same producer. Peter Tolofari says at a point I didn't know it was Naira Marley on the track. He didn't go by his style at all. Maybe he wanted to try a different style. But
what's his style?
He sounded like a nursery rhyme. I'm sorry.
Is that not the style? What is this? What's his style?
I don't know the style. Did Naira Marley record a verse? His verse after getting bail from EFCC.
I knew Saul was gonna go there.
Stay out of trouble. Put some manners into it for once. World be doing the most on the song. Big ups. Latin, I don't know that he's putting in as much work as he did at the start of his career. Baba Tikba won't sing. Good time, Sha.
Wow.
That means that the Bobo has made money, so no need to really shake too much. Just take it easy.
We gotta take a break. This is the Grapevine 91 and it's brought to you by Verve.
Smooth 98.1. Your home, follow.
My goodness.
I have to show you something. I need to follow some people on Instagram. I was like, okay. Oh wow, that's funny. Sorry, it is a female joke. So sorry.
I know. Yeah, feels very awkward.
I know.
That is okay. It's okay. You just manage. It's a man's work. You'll be alright.
Somehow
Are we on? Are we live?
Yes. That's like not declare the joke out.
No, I can't. I just can't anymore.
Wow.
This person just can't.
She
She just can't anymore. She just can't.
No IJGB oppressor. Intimidator.
Chimarkar.
Oh my gosh.
My car. Oh my god, the hair conditioner is
Man,
broken.
today is really Christmas Eve, though.
It's Christmas. We'll just be shouting Merry Christmas.
I don't think it's a scam. So, I miss one.
When is Christmas next year? Christmas
People,
is
I just need
Friday
like
next
a
year.
couple $1 million. Somebody just help out my life.
Yeah.
If you give me $1 million so
See, I
right
have
now,
to
it will
declare
be
it
hard.
in the atmosphere.
I will take even $1 million right
I
now.
know, but I like to project future stuff. Let me just. But what was that number I was asking for? Saying 6 million USD.
No, it was 60
It's 6 million. No, it's
$6 million.
$6
That's
I'm not
very
ready.
specific.
Yes,
Any reason
very.
why?
I've been very. I just feel like it's a good start amount to help me launch my life.
I mean,
So I mean, but I see this is like the second year, man. It's gonna come. I'm
Amen.
gonna come.
Amen.
Kabash.
When it happen, I'm gonna post in my
Tax
Insta
free.
story.
yeah, I want the thing.
Yeah,
$3
Valentine
million
tax
is
return.
But it's
good as well.
that is
It's
their
tax free.
business. What,
Oh, tax free,
That'd be
Abi.
nice.
$3
Even
million.
though tax
So
it,
FII
tax
to
6
come and
million
look
is
for
okay.
you.
I don't mind. It's 6 million.
Before
USD.
somebody calls you in Spain, from Spain, and say, come to Spain to collect me. You know that you're coming back with
It's
half.
okay. It's gonna come. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, that was some my kidney. I wake up with a bathtub full of
The
ice.
stage fall on somebody.
With a native land. That's
Native
what I'm
land
saying.
now.
Yeah.
Native land. The VIP
Oh,
platform
was this,
collapsed because
last
Mali
year?
was performing. They rushed
And
the
they were
gate,
jumping.
broke the gate down,
People are being
rushed onto
trampled.
VIP. The whole thing collapsed. Some people ended up in hospital.
Yeah.
I think it's a joke. So what do you think is going to happen at his own?
Then
Was this-
Lady
was
Donli
this
concert
year?
that was meant to start
It's
10
this
p.m.
year.
at
Native land had
midnight.
to put out a statement
Midnight they were
to
still
say,
doing
"Oh, we're so
stage.
sorry." It's
Lady Donli
crazy.
concert. 10 p.m. was meant to be starting.
That's
12
why I wanted
p.m.
us
They
to
were still doing.
concerts.
They were still setting up
Let's talk about
stage.
concerts.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
because something
See,
might
my
happen.
own is the
I'm just
Malian
saying,
thing. They
and
were
the
not. They
journey,
were not
that was just
prepared.
a
They were
joke.
not prepared because Mali was performing. They were not prepared for the crowd of people that were going to show up. They didn't have security for us.
They
And most of our
oversold
events.
tickets.
Yes, and
Which
most of our
man?
events.
The native
Yes,
land.
Native land.
because
Yeah.
Naira Marley was performing there, and people bombed. They rushed the
It's
gates.
for
We were
the
calling they
actually.
push it down.
Meanwhile,
Enter.
Native Land have an event coming up this weekend as well, and I'm like, yeah, I'm
Let's
thinking
see.
they'll.
To me, is life.
I was
Is
meant to
this,
have I was meant to have a
is this
stand.
Naira Marley's one I'm just looking at? And all the women that are like, oh, Mali and Mali. I said, do you understand the atmosphere you're walking
It's gonna
into?
be crazy.
That's scary. That's scary. That's a woman's nightmare.
Guys, we're
Like,
coming
I
back.
can't feel comfortable in that kind of space.
Studio.
Love music, love life.
Glad to know you're there listening to us here at Smooth 98.1. And this is the Grapevine 91. It's brought to you by Verve. In the studio with us, with Valentine. And
And
with,
Ayo.
we have Folu Storms. Hi, Folu.
Hi.
Sure,
Merry
Jeff.
Christmas.
Yep, I love you 3000.
Delphine.
What's up, people? It's Dodo this season.
Yeah.
Well,
Not Golden Brown.
Golden Brown.
Golden
Dodo.
Brown.
All right, good. Let's start with this first story. So Tony Tetuila is suing Wizkid for some amount on its.
Everybody trying to collect these coins.
I'm telling you, like, everybody's coming for it. Well, the veteran singer Anthony Olarinwaju Awotoye, he is better known as Tony Tetuila, and a Ghanaian singer Tic Tac, they've sued Wizkid over copyright infringement of their 2004 hit song Fefe na Fefe.
Oh, a woman.
Okay.
Fefe
At least you know the song I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Good. So I saw the video. and I
Let us say it
wondered
well.
how in the world did Wizkid think it was right to sing the exact same way as Tony Tetuila? But he put it out on his Twitter page, saying that he's going to go ahead to sue. Said a few things. I quote him. He said, "I just want to clear the airs. I'm hearing things coming from Ghana. Yes, it is true that myself, Tony Tetuila, and Tic from Ghana, formerly known as Tic Tac, are both suing Wizkid and DJ Tunes at the Nigerian Federal High Court for violating our intellectual property rights for my song Fefe na Fefe." Our lawyers have advised us not to say more on this. Thank you. And that's his tweet. What do you guys make of this?
So it's 30 million naira they're suing for.
Wow. Whoosh.
I mean, as anybody, you've heard the two songs, right? And okay, well, when did Bessa come out anyway?
This year.
This year, right? Okay, I'm happy that they didn't wait for how many years before now suing.
Coming out,
the usual things you wait like 5 years later, then it's like okay, but time don't pass now. What's it happen? But let's pass over to the lawyer, Sha.
All right. Well, I think it's a reminder. First of all, the only reason Wizkid would have done it is because his predecessors had been doing it. A lot of people have been infringing on other artists' work, not referencing them, not saying that this is where I got it from, not and that's not right. You really shouldn't. In this age of the internet, I know that people don't pay attention to attribution, and sometimes you go online, even when you post pictures, you post a photographer's work, I saw this really awesome Zanku that was done by some dance class somewhere in, who knows, maybe Europe, America. I know it was a group of white girls, but it was mad. This Zanku got abroad, gave them, and I just thought there's no credit on this. You haven't said who this belongs to, and it's not yours, and that's a very important thing. And musicians are having to deal with that more and more right now. I think for Tony Tetuila and for TikTok who are going afterwards, I mean, fair enough. If you see an easy paycheck, you're gonna go for it, and it's okay if I can get 30 M off you, at least something close to that amount. And for you actually using my work, it is within my rights. I just feel like it's a system where people are playing themselves. Don't get yourself played. Just pay attention. Do the necessary groundwork. I know that MI, for example, that his album Young Denzel, it was ready a year before it actually came out, and that extra year was spent just making sure they secured all permission for all the voices that were used on there, because there's a lot of very popular internet speakers, people who put out stuff, Gary V's on there, a number of very famous people, and they had to do all the necessary work to make sure people were I's dotted, T's crossed. And as Nigerians, as people, we must learn to follow due process, because otherwise it will come back to bite you in the behind.
I totally agree. If people are being sued on the regular, people will learn. So I saw tweets online, people really actually defending Wizkid. I'm like, are you guys high? Is it because he's a bigger star than Tony Tetuila? What is wrong, and what is right is right. So people keep suing. People will learn.
I'm really glad that we're doing this, because, like you mentioned, it's been going on for too long. And we don't respect people's intellectual property. We just think it's out there. It's not my song. Is it not a song? It's not in the public domain. There's no song in the public domain except Amen, Amen. It's not in the public domain.
And those messiahs in the public domain. Do your best with that.
Exactly. So what you can do is research. Like Folu mentioned, we have Google for a reason. Go and check. It's you just go. I'm disappointed because it's Wizkid. He's not new in the industry. I can't even believe he lifted the song.
Guys,
let me just add that
a lot,
in addition to 30 million naira, they're seeking for 35% of both digital.
Oh shit, give them. I love it.
And if they're awarded, which except it's going to drag it. We don't know if they're awarded, then he's going to just be sitting in his house and every morning
pocketing streaming cash.
But that is the way. That's the way it should be, though.
All I just need, somebody just use my voice. He just helped me. Paycheck. January is coming. This December has been tough.
Everything you guys have been saying just made me think of Burna Boy again. Yesterday I was watching a random video. Somebody just pulled up a dance video, like you mentioned. Some lady in the UK was teaching people how to zanku, and she was sampling several songs. Not one mention of the title, or no credit to the title of the song or the artist behind the song. So things like this go on every day on the internet, and people really should pay more attention to this.
That's why YouTube been doing the most work. Shout out to them.
Exactly. And the other, let's not go the route of radio ads.
Fari says that it's quite dangerous nowadays to not give credit to whoever it's due, especially concerning intellectual property. So if Wizzy stole it, however little, he should refund by paying for it. It will make us more sensible by the day. And Amalians have been coming for it. Today is saying, why would you say Naramali's verse wasn't good? We cannot talk about it, they vex me. And then Don Juan says, as far as I'm concerned, the day you start talking all this Malian nonsense, now that day your moon starts.
I agree.
Claim Malian does not have one single iota of sense.
Oh wow.
Adults will be misbehaving that claim say Malian.
Please, let's be respectful of our comments,
No, that's respectful. That's very sensible.
Because it's true.
Encouraging bad behavior.
Yes.
Bad Malian. No, bro. We're gonna correct that behavior here today.
The face cap.
Okay, why is it your house?
Republic of
Don't disturb
Mali.
me outside.
There are reports that a number of people sustained injuries at a Native Land concert that was held on Thursday, December 19th, 2019. That was 4 days ago at the Muri Okonola Park. The stage crashed when apparently a guy went on stage. For those of us that heard of this gist, what do you guys think?
First of all, why Muriel Kola. Why? As in for that kind of concert. It's a tiny place. What were they thinking? And then outselling tickets. And then the crowd, I mean, they played themselves. That's the truth.
Yes.
Like, they
So
have
that-
themselves to blame.
That was
really.
a VIP stage.
Yes, it collapsed. The reports that a number of people rushed on. So first of all, people rushed the gate, got in, and then overcrowded the VIP area. Again, this points out to issues of how much security do you truly have at a number of these places. And this was obviously just before Naira was going to perform. And I feel sorry for the kid in a lot of ways because he really is just a young man that's caught onto something. He's tapped into a main nerve of consciousness for youth in Nigeria, and they love it. You know, he's a symbol of anti-authority, and people love a good rebel. You know, they love a good renegade, but it feels like problems follow him. I, as a woman, I'm not comfortable in any way, shape, or form thinking about going to a place where Malians will be. Go to a place where you're telling me that Naira is going to perform. I'm like, listen, I have nothing personal against the guy. Kudos to him, and I think he's very funny, he's very intelligent, but the mass of people that follow him and what he tends to put out are not going down that same route. They're not thinking these thoughts. It's very scary, and to be in that kind of environment that's hyper toxic, hyper energetic, and hyper misbehave because that's what we're supposed to do. No thank you.
What sort of responsibility do you expect from the event organizers?
I was going to say
they need to do a lot more. We don't prepare enough for events. A number of events are not well because people are just more focused on making money. Remember I said earlier, icing over the cake. You're not looking at logistics. You're not looking at the number of people you're expecting. You're not cross-checking with event promoters how many tickets have actually been sold. You're not overestimating more security than you need. You're doing the bare minimum, and you're okay with cutting budgets when it comes to things like security and safety. What are the fire exits? What happens if there's an emergency? No, you laugh, but you know,
it's valid, but
this is a real problem waiting to happen, and we're going to sit here and we don't want it to turn into a what was it, NDDC that year where people were rushing to get jobs and there was a stampede.
The stadium.
I mean, Christmas is a time where you're just waiting for something like that to happen. We hope it doesn't. We hope we never have to hear such a horrible story that these people got crushed. But event organizers need to take this very seriously, because if it does happen on your watch, like poor native land people are experiencing now, it's really terrible press, and it's going to affect your bottom line, which you're really worried about overall.
I was going to say that, talking about penalties and how it would be a deterrent for people who would want to cut corners when it comes to things like this, particularly when it has an effect on human life, then I think that we need to start taking penalties, fines very seriously. Even if they won't go through the court process in terms of the victims suing the organizers, I believe that the Lagos State government, local council should fine organizers like that who don't put, you want to see your health and safety policy. You want to see your risk register. You want to see what you did to avert those risks. If it wasn't done, they should be fined.
But also a lot of it still comes down to the people. You who has locus standi, if you are somebody that's hurt, you have to stand up and speak. Somebody else cannot speak for you.
But also there's the preparation angle as well. Like just in the planning process, there's a lot of gaps in there. Because even like follow-up concert that happened afterwards, I mean, Lady Donli's concert, all right? Now, somebody walked in at like midnight at a venue I was at and told me that this event was meant to start at 10, and they were still setting up the stage at past midnight.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, so what exactly,
when did the event
was involved with?
start?
It started, I think, maybe about, I think she didn't get it on to maybe about, I can't confirm this, so about 2 or so, 1 or 2.
She put out a tweet coming back to Nigeria. She really did.
Yeah, she was so stressed.
Her managers were assaulted
by the security.
Men. She didn't come out. So it was quite messed up for her in terms of organization. Different concerts have different experiences. So people have different experiences dependent on the organizers and how much thought they put into planning. And we need to, every year we talk about this, but until there's a change, we need to keep talking about no matter start time. They take people's time for granted. You have the headliner coming in at 2 a.m.
Lauren Hill, 4 a.m.
We should be talking about it. If you're blacklisted after 1 year of behaving rubbishly, after a while, people will start conforming.
Sorry, Folu, who regulates events in Lagos?
I don't understand. I'm really going to say, why is this my question?
We have a commission. We have a Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and so it would fall under them. So we have a Commissioner for Culture and Tourism. So it should come under his. But how much we have FIRS and LRS government agencies.
I'm very
sponsoring
sure
over
that there is a
events
very
like
specific agency that's supposed to check is supposed to get permits from, especially depending in terms of capacity, crowd, that sort of thing. But we all know, unfortunately, that corners are cut all the time. All the time. It's way too easy for corners to be cut in this country, and that's when going back to someone who's saying that we have to police ourselves is the truth. It's really just the truth.
But here's why I ask. Should there be a limit to the number of events that should happen at a certain period of time?
Nope, that's capitalism. Unless we're going to change and become a little bit more of a socialist country, capitalism allows for you to do as much as possible. I mean, it's not the events. It's not a problem of having too many events. It's an issue of whether we're following regulations and rules that exist, or saying that perhaps we don't have enough rules and regulations for the way that events are conducted. And that's something that, yes, our state legislators should get involved in. Say, okay, at least in Lagos State, this is what you have to make sure happens before it's done.
Yeah.
If your event's supposed to start at this time, your event must be done by this time, which is why we've seen issues with
36-hour party.
Exactly, 36-hour parties and all that stuff. You can't after the fact become annoyed that that's happening, or at least if you see it happening, then start legislating for it. These are the things that we need: an active government and an active citizenry to make sure that we can secure. And the traffic, people go to the village now. Christmas Day, so
like Uber. I mean, like, okay, well, the taxi agencies, let me put it that way, are, you know, like the rates now, like you within 2 minutes 3.1, 2 minutes is 2.1, and then 4.5. I'm like,
so those numbers
are like, yeah, surge. Well, I don't know whether to call
taxis.
Well, I
think taxes.
No. I guess part of it is with all the IGGBs in town, but then I'm also thinking that they're trying to reach their Christmas cutoff as well. I have to say, because some of it is ridiculous.
Right. So here's why I asked that question, because first of all, there are many events, and second of all, the last time I saw this many ads on billboards was the 2019 elections. It was a campaign.
Honestly,
I'm telling you, you're right.
I think it's that we're having Lagos State is becoming more vibrant. Christmas is something to look forward to, and to be fair, it's attracting more people to come around this time, because you're thinking, I mean, there's actually a new Dirty December. So it's something in many countries around the world, they target festive seasons like you mentioned. Whether we like it or not, these men are making money. And you want to ensure that people are in your business. People who own people in hospitality industry are cashing out.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I think it's great. However, if you're doing this and you're making money, you need to put systems in place. It's really important.
Yeah.
And then it's also the government's responsibility. In other parts of the world, when you're having events like this, you ensure that policemen, last mile officials are deployed. You apply to the local council to ask for extra security. Because this number of people are coming. I don't know if this is done in Nigeria. And in the events where we have multiple events and you don't have enough manpower, they tell you have to get private security
The one time,
in order to cater to the people.
The one time when they actually the one example I can give of when they have this organized is when they're doing things like races, like marathons and whatnot. You got last man police on point with those, but why can't you do that with concerts?
Let me tell you something. I think it's very possible to do, and I will commend, and I have to commend them over and over again. Artex do it so brilliantly each year, and they get better each year. Look at the signage, the organization. I went to an event recently at the same Federal Palace that Artex was held at. How long ago? And I remember thinking, okay, let me see what the experience is going to be like. Because for Artex, there were signboards everywhere. There were now LASMA all along the roads to let you know, oh, come in here, turn in here. First, I got to the junction, nobody to help me turn in. I said, okay, I'm a Lagos girl. I've been driving for a while. I can do this. I get in. Just a complete lack of organization, and you can see the difference between people who are meticulous, who from the top will follow up and check, have you done this, because easing traffic in Lagos especially is so important. It is so important. Do the extra work. Yes, it is extra work, but we need that to happen so that all of us in Lagos can live together in a slightly more peaceful environment. Because everybody's temper is up. They are spending money,
and that's remarkable, really. The way Artex organized it was worth
brilliant.
commending.
It's brilliant.
A group of young people doing something older people still trying to.
Nobody older than 40 in the entire team. No single person older than 40. Everybody under the age of 40 in the Artex team. Every single person.
And guess
just
what?
To let you know.
At the concert, we're all standing.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like it.
That's brilliant.
So anyway,
Ali from Abba said, what made me more livid is the statements put out by native land after the tragedy. You're not meant to defend yourself when issues like that happens. You're meant to sympathize, feel sorrow and grief, not arguing and bringing up your own facts on life and death situation. I'm just still stunned by the whole thing. I thought the organizers of this event are learned people. And then Modupe on YouTube says, Nigerians still attend these events. That's why organizers and artists will not respect people's time and safety, and they will now call it Dirty December. Dirty. He's really
Dirty.
Well, shout out to everybody who owns an event place in Lagos. You guys are cashing out till whenever. In the meantime, we want to say special thanks to you for sending the messages, for joining the show, for listening, and shout out to our analysts who came in on the Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
I can't get over how grateful I am for that. Shout out to Folu Storms, Chef Jet 3000, and Delphine Nata. Please plug out, guys.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah. Bye.
Short and sweet. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChefJeff3000, and I love you 3000. I'll see you guys again on the grapevine.
Yes, I'm on all social media platforms as Folu Storms and FoluStorms.com. But very exciting news, brand new series that I'm in and I'm starring in. It's going to be out on, well, I'll let you know. Just go to my social media handles. But the 8th of January, Afro Magic Showcase. It's very exciting. Unmarried is coming.
Whoa!
It's coming. That's what it's called.
Nice.
So yes, so there'll be more updates. So just FoluStorms.com.
I like how you put slip down there. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
We just gets the wrong message. Next, Lagos, we get to talk at 9 o'clock. Stay with us.
Of the smooth